Today we're discussing the most recent play put on by Hillcrest High School, The Farnsworth Invention. Directed by Joshua Long, this inclusive, inspiring play about the man who invented the television is one that I feel is very timely and appropriate for current events.
Philo Farnsworth is a young boy born in Beaver, Utah, but who gets inspiration for the television as he considers the lines that are formed in the fields of his father's farm. He blows away his science teacher with his above his level ideas, and soon he's out trying to get his idea funded.
Meanwhile, David Smirnoff is part of the radio industry and starting to climb up the ranks. He believes, along with the experts advising him, that the television is perfectly harmless to the radio industry, a conversation for the rich at best. But as the stock market crashes and Smirnoff is forced to let radio be overrun with advertisements, he and the rest of the world start to reconsider.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the acting that we both saw in this production. I definitely thought it was very high, especially because the audience was so close to the actual actors. It had to be very, very intricate almost, and making sure that every single line that they ever spoke was filled with tactics and variety and coloring.
Specifically, there was something that really impressed me was because you have Colin Fuller, who played Farnsworth, and you have Gabe Ina, who played Smirnoff, but you also had all of these individual characters who weren't as big, who I ended up loving so much because of how they acted in, because I believed who they were. One problem with the immersive staging is that if there's a problem, most people will know about it. With immersive, that's just going to be a problem you're going to have with immersive staging, is people are going to be able to see those problems, and you just have to fix them the best way possible.
Yeah, that's why it has to take so much planning and so much everything going through the exact spacing, because there are people there and they can see it and they can act upon it. Right. Especially with the buzz of the TV, because I remember talking in our theater class how since there wasn't really that much space, they couldn't walk in and walk out of stages, out of scenes. They couldn't change scenes. They had to move and use their bodies and use sound and use vocal patterns, like slamming chairs down and using the TV buzzer thing with the static. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it was very good.
One of probably my favorite characters was probably Colin. I mean, he's the main character, but I actually genuinely loved the way that he portrayed this character, this famous figure, and personified him, and it was very interesting. However, one problem that I had with most of the actors was I was realizing that they were dropping a lot of their lines, and that's one thing that's super that's how I always know if it's a really good actor and a okay actor is if they drop their lines. So I would say that's one thing to work on.
Something that I noticed is a lot of them seem to be typecast. I had seen these actors before, and I felt like they were playing the same people that they played in the past. But I agree with what you said about Colin, because playing such a scientific, powerful-minded character would be very difficult, especially when you consider that he invented the television.
I know.
That'd be a daunting task. But I truly believe that this Farnsworth was a real person.
One also part, how do you feel the script affected the way that the actors did?
I loved how Farnsworth and Smirnoff were narrating each other. I thought that was a really interesting dynamic, and it created, because they only met once in real life, right? And it created this sort of dynamic where you expected them this whole time to meet and to have this intense battle between them, and it was all fake.
Which especially made that last scene, and he told us that he never actually had a conversation with Philo, and he was crazy.
He explained the stock market, he explained patents, he explained the TV in the script as a narration, and that really helped me understand what was going on.
Yes. One thing also I would like to talk about is how is this story, even though it's talking about this man 100 years ago, is there any way that it's relevant to what's going on today?
One of the last lines that Smirnoff says is, we were made to be explorers.
Yes.
And I think that optimism about the human race is what makes this show so important.
That we still have exploration that we can do, that we're able to do in this life. When I got down to the very basic, very main plot, like the point of the story, was that so there was this man, and he let his alcoholism and like all of his flaws consume his entire life, and he finally let somebody else just take him down because he was not able to keep that away. And I feel like people today aren't keeping themselves strong and making sure that they are able to like stand their ground, almost. Anyway, thank you
Thank you.
for discussing this topic with us. See you next time.